Hey everybody, how's it going? So we're going to go ahead and reply to Hendry Varianto's question. It says, I can't seem to link the shader class with the main.cpp help. So I'm not exactly sure what he's asking, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, I was watching the video, and so what I thought I would do is just kind of exactly go over what has to happen in order for this to work. Number one, we include the shader file that has the shader class in the project, which actually doesn't necessarily have to be. It doesn't have to be over here under header files, but that's a really nice convenience in the GUI, so you're able to just pull it up and edit it at a moment's notice. So it doesn't have to be over there, but it is. The second thing, this has to be, it has to be included in the main file. What that does is it loads the code. So the compiler will see this, and then it will load this whole code into the actual program itself. So you really don't even need to have this as a separate thing. You could actually have it at the bottom, bottom of your code or the middle of your code or wherever. It's just a convenience again to put this class in another file. And then once you've got that there and you've got everything set and you've got all the code that you want in there for the class, this is the instantiation of the class. So you're telling it the type that you're going to load, and I had a little problem with this in the video, but anyways, this is the type you're going to load, and then this is the name for this particular instantiation, and this one is another one, a different instance. So there's a lighting shader instance and there's a lamp shader instance, and they, as you can see, they use different vertex shaders and fragment shaders, and that's the parameters that are sent into the constructor functions. So once those happen, once those instances are reached in the program, it creates these classes, an instance of the class. So the first time it'll create an instance of the class and it'll call it lighting shader, and it'll have all these variables and all these things, and then it'll try shader open, it'll open the file, it'll load it in. This is where it's parsing it into a C string through the buffers and blah blah blah, then it goes through that. And then down here is where it turns the shader code into code that OpenGL can recognize. And then it creates the vertex shader, compiles it with the source code here, and then it links it in. And then it creates the program down here, attaches the shaders, and then it returns. And then it gives you, of course, with the class, you've got these other functions like use, setBool, int, float, setVec, which is an easy way to handle uniforms, which I didn't really get into too much detail, but I'm going to go through more of the online tutorial later. Okay, so lighting shader, then we're coming down here, blah, 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 go through all this. So the lighting shader, next time it's used, is actually in the loop, okay, the render loop. So then you've got the lighting shader, you're using it, and then you got these colors, and then you got more, and then lighting shader using some uniform variables there, which is cool. Which makes me want to look at the actual code here. So this is lighting, basic lighting, vertex shader. Why is that set to open with WordPad? Alright, I mean that works, but yeah, so position, normal. Here's your uniforms right here, model view projection, okay? So those are the uniforms that are being sent in there with the code, which is kind of cool. So object color, light, and then those, that could also be part of the, because I didn't see those actually, that could be part of this. Yeah, light position, view position, light color, object color. So those are all uniforms that are sent in from the application. And it doesn't really do much, but it does really actually accurate lighting, so I shouldn't actually say that it doesn't do much because it does accurate lighting, unlike some of my examples. Okay, so oh, and then of course right before rendering you call the use function per instance that you're using, and then it lets you render with that particular shader. So use the shader, then you can change those uniforms, set to projection, set to matrix, whatever it does there, the projection view model, and then renders a cube, and then it changes the shader again, and then it does some more rendering stuff, and then it finally renders. Ultimately, it just does this. So you've got your cube, and then you've got your lit up, yeah, your lamp, and then you've got your lighting shader. Anyways, I hope that answers your question, because for main is where you control, the high level control actually happens, where you call functions, you set variables. These are all function calls. And in the actual class itself is where you can define what you want to do. So the constructor is right from here down to here. So there's the constructor. And then you've got the use function, which is just call a GL use program. And you've got all these here too, which are really cool. Which I'll probably cover some more videos about these, because I don't actually cover uniform variable use too much. I think I do a few things. But anyways, thanks very much for watching. This is already probably too long of a video, so I apologize for that. But I hope that does answer your question, and I'm going to go ahead and post this video in reply as well to your question, and hope that answers it. If not, please feel free to reply. I do work during the day, so I don't have a chance to actually answer questions and stuff until I get home, but I do see them. Because in my work I actually do some stuff for anyways. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave comments in the section below the video, like Hendry did. Yay!